Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here with episode whatever it is of the WrestleHorror podcast. And this time around, we're going to do a wrap-up of the New Ohio Wrestling Show at the Ohio State Fair. Joining me, of course, New Ohio Wrestling promoter Donnie Hoover.
Everybody.
We've got Peachy Rodriguez, one of our referees.
How you guys doing?
And where would we be without our play-by-play man, Mr. John Orlando?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And we are just going to talk about a phenomenal show that we had this past weekend, the ins and out, behind the scenes, some funny things that might have happened. It was just really, really a good show. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like I said, we're just going to chat about the weekend and just have some fun with it. Just a little off the grid of what we're normally doing on here.
Right. And for those of you that listen to us and watch us for the horror part, it's coming, I promise.
Right. And there's definitely going to be some haunt stuff coming. You just got to bear with us as we get this wrestling stuff through.
Right. So, we started out on a Friday afternoon, and quite frankly, it was I think everybody was kind of nervous if we were even going to have a crowd given the time of day that the show was.
Yeah, it was actually Friday morning. We were actually with the first people there was right. Baker and Ashton, or not Ashton. What was his name? I'm sorry, I forgot his name already. He's going to be mad. I don't know. What was it? Oh, Devlin. I'm sorry, Devlin. He's a new student. I only met him once. So, yeah, Baker and Devlin was the first ones there. And when me and Terry and Dirk got there with the ring and everything. So, yeah, we got started a little after 8 a.m. and just went the whole 2 days. But, yeah, we didn't think Friday from 1 to 3 in the afternoon would be a good time because people work and stuff. But I was actually pleasantly surprised at the turnout we had on Friday, so I couldn't complain.
Well, I got to agree. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. I mean, even like 10 minutes to showtime, it was like, where is everybody?
Right.
Peachy's
yeah, but if I may interject, I think one of the things that helped us out was that the weather was not too bad. I mean, it was warm, but it wasn't oppressive like it has been in previous years. And, even in that pavilion, we had a great cross breeze coming over, from, I don't know if that would be east to west or whatever direction it was. But it really made things for both days somewhat pleasant to be out there in that pavilion.
Oh, I agree. And one of the funny things was some of the talent obviously was there ahead of time. And Ben Boone, he got into his full gear with his cape and everything, and he's walking up and down the midway, just being Ben Boone, the Bachelor. I mean, I can only imagine how many roses he gave away.
Oh yeah, he was having fun. He put on Facebook there's a picture of him where there was 3 people on stilts and he's like standing in front of them and he's got his cape all spread out, and so you could just tell he was out there having fun, just killing time before the show started. And I'm sure he was drawing up some interest too, so that wasn't bad on top.
Well, it was that, and not only Ben, but Onyx. Onyx went out into the crowd trying to drum up some business now.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who have never seen Onyx, the crowds just part for this man. I mean, he's huge.
He's massive.
Yeah.
He can bench press a small car. So, right. I mean, he draws a crowd no matter what. He stands out because he's gigantic and in a good way.
Right. He reminds me of a really muscle-bound Shaft. With the sunglasses and everything, it's just like.
Yeah,
that's a new gimmick for him. Let's get him a rubber coat, and
we'll have to get the song, get the music. But yeah, like I said, the crowd. Actually, I was nervous about the crowd, but we literally had got there, like I said, at 8 a.m. and by 8:30. We had already had people coming up asking us when the show started. I mean, we didn't have our signs and stuff unloaded out of the van. We had like nothing unloaded, and people was already coming up to us and asking what time the show started. So that started to make me feel a little better, but still in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's Friday from 1 to 3. Like nobody's going to be here. So yeah, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. And Onyx and Boone did help by going out and doing that.
Well, and I think one other thing too that if I can just discuss real quick, there's probably some people out there that don't understand the environment that we were in. A fair show is unlike any other type of wrestling show that you can do. I mean, Peachy, and Donnie, it's not like a regular show where people want to come and see pro wrestling. Right. It's a show where you have some folks that want to see pro wrestling, but a vast majority of them are stopping by out of curiosity, or they want to just sit down for a few minutes. They have a hot dog that they want to eat, and they stay for a match or two, and then they leave. And I think that some people that maybe were there might go, oh my gosh, all these people are here, and then like 20 of them left after that match. That's typical. That's what happens. That's not a bad thing. To me, the victory was made when all those seats were filled for that match. 20 people leave, you get 10 more or 15 more back, and you start all over again. The process is again, and you're getting those eyes. And that's how it works. So I think that for those folks that maybe they were there and they thought, well, this seems weird that there's all these people leaving. No, this is how it works in a fair show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of, like I said, when I saw that after the first match, because I saw the crowd was there, and I was like pleasantly surprised. And like I said, I've done fair shows, so I knew what they were about, but I've never promoted a fair show. So I was kind of like nervous when the match ended, and I seen this big group of people just start getting up and walking out. And I was like, oh, crap, man. So I walked in. So then it dawned on me, like, this is like the Arnold. But at the Arnold, we deal with the same thing. You got people sit down after every match. Ooh, big thunderstorm outside. After, the match, people get up, leave, and the next wave comes and sits down. And so when I saw him get up and leave, I got nervous. But then when I saw others, like, wander in, I was like, okay, so, this is like the Arnold. It's going to be like this all weekend. So I kind of calmed down on that part of it.
Hey, Peachy, what was your take on everything? You've been awfully quiet.
I was really surprised as well with Friday. I mean, there was definitely a 1 to 3 is not when you expect people to be at a wrestling show on a Friday. And then Saturday was even better when I looked out during one of the matches that I wasn't involved in, and I saw people standing behind all the people that were sitting on that far side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest crowd we've ever had, and I was glad to see it, not just for us, but for the guys in the ring, gals in the ring, because that's important to them. When they walk out there and there's a big crowd like that, it gives them that little extra shot of adrenaline. And it goes all the way back to the locker room, because the guys in the back are looking through the peepholes and watching, and they're telling the other guys, hey, there's a hot crowd, or the crowd's packed, or, whatever. So when there was, and like I said, I don't know exact numbers, but I would say there's probably around 500 plus at certain times. And the guys, so when the people saw that, it gives them that little shot of adrenaline to where they want to go out and do more to just try to get in with that crowd.
Well,
if I may, real quick, sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to interrupt. But one thing that surprised me was that, and I don't know why I thought this, but I just thought Saturday's crowd might be a little bit more rowdy than it was.
Yeah.
I just assumed it Saturday night. Maybe people have had a few drinks, maybe, and that was a good thing, maybe, and a bad thing.
Right.
It works both ways. But I was kind of surprised that they weren't more boisterous, louder, especially when you started clicking around that 8:30, 9 o'clock time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there still was a great crowd, no doubt about it. But I kind of was a little bit surprised that we didn't have, a lot more loud and rowdy and rambunctious.
Yeah, I did notice in certain spots, if I stood in certain areas, that the noise level seemed to be louder than others. So I don't know if it was, they could have been more rowdy and chanting and all that, but I don't know if it was like the pavilion, like the sound levels were different in certain areas, but I did kind of notice that. But yeah, I agree. I was looking for more chants and more, but again, it's a fair crowd. A lot of them don't really, they don't know what to do. So each match they have to be trained and taught how to react. So.
Mm-hmm.
What I noticed was, sitting at my position over by John and the hot commodity Matt Mason, in between my ring announcing. Yeah, okay, the crowd was a little cool at times, but when there was a big spot, the crowd popped, and they popped hard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, which is great. You know, I mean, that's the guys did what they did and they accomplished what they want. They got the pop.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it was a little cool, but the pops were there when they needed to be. And of course, with the Black Superman Onyx, that was just a constant pop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, he's always great with crowds, great with kids, and that's probably the main thing I like about him is he's so good with kids and with fans and stuff, and that's why Terry suggested after his match on Saturday that he go out and get the kids in the ring and take pictures and then take pictures with people outside because that's kind of like his specialty. That's what he does. You know, he goes out and he mingles with the kids and the fans and they just love it. And they like even Lee from the Arnold came out and joined us and had their own booth. And even she was, you know, getting into him when he was there. She was asking like when her champion, because he's the Arnold SportsWorld Kids and Teens Expo champion. She was asking when her champion's coming on so she could watch and pay attention. And so yeah, so like I said, that's just what he does. You know, he gets people involved and gets their heart and gets them like emotionally invested into what's going on.
Well, can we talk for a minute about some of the new faces that we saw over the weekend?
Absolutely, yeah, let's.
Yeah, I mean, Onyx has been with us since day one, and by all means, a very important part of the roster. But I was quite impressed with many of the newcomers that made their debut this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had three of them, three new guys come in from Tennessee, from down south. We had a new woman come in, Katie Arquette, and I thought she did fantastic. Her and Zoe had a great match and just seemed like everything clicked. And she was, real nice in the back, real friendly, polite, and respectful, which is what we need in the back. We don't need, divas in the locker room, and she definitely wasn't that. And so, yeah, she was really impressive. And, Kevin Zion, all those guys were just great, in my opinion. And I talked to all three of them, and we're definitely going to have them back for the Arnold. Nick Stanley, Alex Taylor. Again, both of those guys were great, real professional, real friendly. Didn't cause any drama in the back. Their work rate was very good. They had some good matches. And so we're definitely going to have those guys back for the Arnold. And so it's nice to bring in new people and give them a try and see how they do. And it just, we're fortunate that it just seemed to work out for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say regarding the guys from Tennessee, Alex and Nick, I believe it was. They had a stellar match. I thought they were real professional and very entertaining. And matter of fact, they even told one of the guys that works at Tried and True down there in Tennessee what a great job they did. I was talking to him today. So
Peachy, you kind of were familiar with those three guys, right? You've worked other shows with them, correct?
Yeah, I actually worked a show with them over in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Wrestling for Warriors, and they were part of a 6-man scramble match. And usually any of us that have been around those know that they can become quite a mess real quick sometimes. And the 6 guys that were in there, they held it all together, and I'll be honest with you, it was one of the better ones that I've been in. And that's what kind of caught my eye. And when Donnie said that he wanted some new talent, I reached out to him, and they were more than happy to come up.
Yep, they were definitely good guys to get.
I thought Kevin Zion and Sless Taylor had a fantastic match. And as a matter of fact, maybe one of the best matches on the show Saturday and on Friday. I thought that those two guys had a really good match. And I agree also, too, Donnie. I think the ladies had a fantastic match as well. I mean, it was really, really well done. And just I think it really had the captivation of the fans there on Saturday.
Oh yeah, and they took it outside, and the fans always like it when the women go on the outside and stuff, but it's a different perspective. I mean, we have tons of men that get on there and wrestle and fight on the outside, but when you see the women go out on the outside, it just the fans kind of get into it a little more, and they did great, and Zoe's always on point. She's I don't think I've ever seen her have a bad day here in a long time. So I was pleasantly pleased.
And one other maybe we should mention too, because he was kind of a last-minute addition to the show, was Chris Moore, who I thought held his own with Onyx, and there's not too many men in the sport of pro wrestling that can say they can hold their own with Onyx.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was another person that Peachy had mentioned and reached out to. We had, like I said, we had a few cancellations on this event, a lot of injuries and surgeries and stuff going around. It seemed like. So yeah, like I said, Peachy stepped up and got the spots filled for us. And this show here, I honestly say, I didn't have one single issue with any other wrestlers or referees or anybody. Like, everybody was professional, everybody was having fun, everybody was respectful, everybody went out there and worked hard. Guys stepped up when we needed some extra matches added in to keep with times. Guys stepped up and put together their own matches, and yes, I mean, this was the roster we had Friday and Saturday is probably the best one we've had to date, I think.
I'll mention one last name too, is Eli McFly. He's been around for quite a few years, and he kind of gets more booked in Indiana than anywhere. And I said, why don't we try him out too? He's local, and he came out and definitely got the Ohio State fans going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I even asked him. I was like, "You live in?" Yeah, I even asked him. I was like, "You live in Columbus and you've never reached out to us. Why?" And that just baffled me. And he told me why and stuff, or why he didn't have, because of his schedule and all that he has. Yeah. And but yeah, so that's another one. And I'm glad you mentioned his name. Another one that we said that we would bring back for the Arnold. So, so the Arnold spots are already starting to fill up. It's like,
I gotta say, one of the more entertaining is too simple a term. Jake Ely.
mm-hmm.
He makes me laugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's becoming Terry's favorite. She's starting to really like his character. She said he's coming out of the shell now, and she's starting to like him.
Yeah, as Hot Commodity Matt Mason likes to say, Jake Ely's kind of got that Brian Pillman-like feel to him, or vibe to him.
Right.
A little bit, and he certainly is coming into his own as well.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of the loose cannon in him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. But overall, I don't know, Peachy, what did you think were some of the better matches that you were involved with or that you witnessed over the weekend?
I think that, Jim mentioned Nick Stanley and Alex Taylor earlier. I think that it's a different style than what Columbus is used to. So it was something more than just the norm. I hate to say it like that, but it gave the fans a little something different to chew on, and I think they thoroughly enjoyed it. They were behind Alex, and and they definitely did not like Nick Stanley coming out acting like he was God's gift to women and all this stuff. And it just, I think it was really good. I think that everything was spot on, and I think it got what we wanted out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ones? Man, there's so many. Everything flowed really good. Both days, Friday and Saturday, I think everything, but another one, Matt Taylor and Robbie Starr on Saturday. I think that was, definitely the highlight of the night was Robbie winning the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely the New Ohio Wrestling title sequence of exchanges was definitely something that people was talking about.
If I could step in for a minute, Donnie, we're gonna have to take a short break and restart this. But stay tuned, because we got a lot more to talk about from New Ohio Wrestling at the Ohio State Fair.
Okay, yeah, are you
on this computer? Okay, and now we're back from the break. Everybody had to go get a beer, get a smoke.
Wait a minute, smokers are jokers, Jim. What are you doing?
I agree 100%. But we're back to talk about now at the Ohio State Fair. And guys, why don't we talk about a couple of the matches? We don't want to go through, there's a lot of matches, so we're not going to go through all 14 matches, but let's talk about a couple of the highlights. And things that went on during the Ohio State Fair.
Well, I'll go first real quick because I think that one of the matches that, and Peachy, you alluded to this, when you get multi-person matches, sometimes they do become a mess. And, I think, Donnie, we can be honest that we had planned to do a battle royal on Friday, and that didn't work out because some people didn't show up for various different reasons. Yep. And so we, at the last minute, threw together a 3-way dance that was really much better than anticipated, in all honesty. Yeah, in all honesty, you look at, here are 3 young guys. They got thrown into this literally at the last minute. Mm-hmm. This is the recipe for a train wreck. And it was an actually very good, entertaining match. And hats off to all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Baker, Ashton, Day, and Devlin, Kassidy. And I will be honest, when the idea was brought up to me, my first instinct was like, no way. And I was nervous. Not that I didn't have faith in them. I just, like you said, 3-ways can turn into a train wreck real quick with the younger guys. And then so I literally went to Baker and I was like, have you ever done a 3-way before? And he said, yeah, but not many. And I said, well, do you know like some of the stories that go along with telling a story of a 3-way? And he didn't seem like too confident. So I just said, well, go to Peachy. I said, get the other 2 guys, go to Peachy. Peachy will put it together for you. And then I think you guys will be good. And so I will admit I was nervous when it started, but I was definitely pleasantly surprised. It actually was way better than I was expecting it to be. I didn't see any confusion. I didn't see any like missed spots that were real noticeable. Everything flowed good. They told a story like they were supposed to. And I was definitely pleasantly surprised with it.
I've got to say, Baker really, he really took control of the match, and he was really entertaining. And before the match, I know at least 4 times, Donnie, you and I were talking, and it's just like, this is going to be a train wreck. I know it. I know it's just going to be a train wreck. I'm so nervous about this match. But the Baker, he's a unique character, and all of the guys did well. It was a pleasant, like you said, pleasantly surprised.
Oh,
and you know what? Just to sell the idea, and it's true. We've seen it with our own eyes. You can get 3 veterans in a 3-way dance and it turn into a complete train wreck. It's just that style of a match when you have all that happening. And Peachy, hats off to you to kind of quarterbacking that and getting those guys all on the same page.
I've done 3-way matches before, and I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like them because for me they were too confusing, and it's just so hard to tell a story for a 3-way match. And so that was probably like one of my least favorite matches to do. And so kudos to those guys. They really like stepped up. And I was talking to people later, and people when referring to the Baker, it's like something in him's just kind of switched. Like he was training, he was getting it, he was struggling, he was getting better, and then all of a sudden it just seems like something switched in his head, and he just gets it now, and he's improving. From what I can tell, from what I've seen, he's improving a lot every time. So good for him. We're happy to see that.
I agree.
And he has a great character too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got donuts on his singlet. Come on, man.
but it's a great gimmick that he really goes out there and gives everything he's got. And for that gimmick, and it works, and the people react to it, and the kids like it. And sure, it's silly, sure, it's goofy, but personally, I think you need a little bit of that on a roster. You can't have all high flying guys. You can't have all badasses. You can't have all the strength men. I really believe, as Mick Foley mentioned, in his book, you need to have a little bit of everything. You have to have the 31 flavors. When it comes to a wrestling roster.
Yeah, I think his singlet was great. I love it. Every time I see it, I just smile and laugh. Like he's got donuts on his singlet.
I was tickled when I had his cards for announcing, and it said he was from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and he weighed in at 260 pound cakes.
Oh yeah, he's making it work, man. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Baker's a great character.
And he definitely has the energy too. That's what makes it. He could have the goofy singlet and he could have, the music and everything, but he puts the effort into it. He makes it work for him.
Agreed.
Well, what are some of the other matches you guys thought really stood out? I mean,
from Friday, I would probably say, of course, Brandon Fields, Matt Taylor, Ethan Wright, and Sless Taylor, they always bring it. They've worked each other numerous times. Those are always great matches. Bruce and Ben, they had the task of basically being first out. So they had to basically train the fair people on who to boo, who to cheer, how to do it, train the crowd. And I think they did that very well. They went out, they took them a while to get started, and I understood why, because, again, they had to teach the crowd what to do and what not to do. And fans that aren't wrestling fans, like people that would go to the fair to sit down and watch, they may not know that they're allowed to yell at the wrestlers or call them names or clap and cheer, so they have to be taught that. And to me, that's what I was thinking Bruce and Ben were out there doing, training the crowd, getting them ready for the rest of the day. And I think they did a good job with that. And, Avery and Onyx, that's always a good one. Avery's, he can work with pretty much anybody, same as Onyx. And I thought that went over well. But, obviously the main thing that stood out was Taylor finally beating Fields for the title. And to the joy of, seemed like everybody on the internet that night, we were getting a lot of feedback congratulating him and all that. So that was good to see that it actually got that big of a response.
Well, as a matter of fact, Matt stood there probably about a good 10, 15 minutes taking pictures with fans, which, the kids just really loved it. And Matt's a hometown favorite, so. I saw John doing strange things.
No, I accidentally clicked a button and you all disappeared, and I'm like, what?
I seen him freak out. I was like, what is he doing?
Sorry.
Like he's seeing something we don't.
I was like, oh crap! I closed something, but it just shrunk down on the toolbar. So.
One thing I found that I wasn't prepared for, because I've never seen Ben Boone work before this past weekend, is he's down there in the corner and he's reaching into his trunks, and I'm going, oh dear God, what is he doing? And then he came out with the rose petals, but I didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking to myself, this is a family-friendly show, and he's got his hands down his trunks. Now, the last couple of wrestlers I've seen with their hands down their trunks weren't going after rose petals.
Right.
I watched a show at Rockstar last year, and Moose was one of the Impact stars that was there, and he reached into his trunks and allegedly got a whole bunch of stank he was going to rub in his opponent's face. So it's like, Ben can't be doing this.
Right.
And that's new. He hasn't been doing that. No, that was the first time I saw the Bachelor character do that as well, right? He hasn't been doing it much.
Yeah, I don't think he did it the last time he was with us, like at the Arnold and stuff. Which reminds me, from now on, if I forget, somebody please send me a message to put a broom in our van. Because I looked all over the fair and there was not one broom anywhere.
But there was an American flag, because I rant about this all the time. I've been on so many, and OCW was guilty of this too. Many shows, no U.S. flag. So you're standing, looking around with an empty stage.
Everybody's turned in different directions.
Right, exactly.
Well, we actually had two flags. There was two flags there.
Oh, was there? I only saw the one like in the center.
There was one on the podium on a flagpole over by the boxing ring.
Yep, you're right.
So there was another one, because that's the one I turned to. That's the one Matt and I turned to.
No, there's one right above you guys.
There was one
right above you, yeah.
See, I didn't even look up. There you go.
So, how about the James Avery and James Roenick match, student versus teacher? There was a swerve in that match I wasn't expecting.
Yep, that's Avery for you. And but yeah, I actually thought it was a very good match. You know, Jr. went in there and did his thing, or James Roenick now. He went in there and did his thing, and you know, he did very well, held his own. And I'm sure there was nerves there because he told a story of where him and his father always talked about, you know, if wrestling ever came to the Ohio State Fair, that they would go. And I guess I don't know how many years professional wrestling hasn't been at the fair, but we were the first to bring it back, I guess, in apparently a long time. So I know him being there was like a special thing for him. On top of it, he's in the ring with his trainer and his teacher. He's going to grill him, you know, and basically if he does anything wrong, he's going to know it. So it was good to see. They worked well together. It was a great match. The finish, you know, I was fine with the finish. You know, it is what it is. I was good with it. It worked. So, but yeah, I think he did very well.
Well, the finish caught me off guard, and I'm going, wait a second.
That's New Ohio wrestling for you.
But you know, kudos to JR. But we still need to have somebody. I know Matt Taylor chokeslammed him last time at Kickmaster, but he really needs a chokeslam from like Onyx or something.
Oh, I want to throw it out there. I think wasn't it 2007 was the last time wrestling was at OSU Fair?
I honestly don't know.
2010.
2010?
Popped up on the first. It was an NWA show that I was actually at.
Oh, okay. So 8 years ago.
Okay. So that was the
or 9 years ago.
Scott Steiner, Abyss was there. Is that it, Peachy? Okay,
Yep.
so it's 2010. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I
And
thought it was later.
your partner in crime was on that show too.
Oh, my partner in crime, yes, the hot commodity Matt Mason.
Yep.
Man. You know what? Can I just take a minute to put him over, if I may?
Do it. Go for it.
Okay, because I'm being serious. It's really a privilege, and it's so nice to work with Matt because we just got the personality and the chemistry that just clicks. I can't explain it, and you know, I know Matt, much like myself, can be hard on himself. You know, I think he probably might be a little bit miffed at me, but you know, he at times through the weekend was not sure that we were clicking on all cylinders, and we were. And I respect that, you know, he wants to go out there and do the very best that he can on color commentary, much like I want to do the very best that I can on play. But I couldn't have asked for a better partner. You know, so, I mean, it's always fun. I always look forward to it. So, you know, Matt, if you're listening, you're the best partner, man. I couldn't ask for a better partner, dude. So there you go. Put him over a little bit.
Yeah, he's always been like that. Like I said, I've known him we're 22 years now, 21, 22 years. And he was one of my, like when I was wrestling him and Sherman Tank, they were, and Roadblock, those were like my 3 top opponents. And Marcus Dillon, he was mostly my partner though, so I didn't feud with him a whole lot, but I did. But, you know, I wrestled Matt many times, and he would do the same thing in the ring. You know, we could go out and have a great match, make no mistakes, have the crowd hot, do everything we were supposed to do, and he'd walk through the curtain. Oh man, that was shit. I sucked. I was total crap. And I'm like, dude, you did fine. It was great, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's always been like that, and that's probably what makes him as good as he is, you know, and the things he does is he's hard on himself and he pushes himself. So that's not necessarily a bad quality.
No, and I'm guilty of doing it too. So I can totally understand where his head's at. But you know, Matt, you killed it this weekend. Don't worry about it, man.
Well, let's you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about really somebody that was there that did triple duty and Pat the Bruiser.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, we're sure about it because we were there.
Sure about that.
I don't know why I don't know why she started talking.
I don't know why she's trying to talk crap for.
I try not to spit water out.
You better recognize. But yeah, Pat really stepped up, and again, that was more of where we were running short on time on matches, and you know, because Saturday night we had to do 4 hours, and I had booked 11 matches thinking we would be close, and we were still going to run short and end early. And yeah, so he just stepped right up. Him and Sless went out and had him a match, and then they came up. They came up to me with a 6-man idea. I don't remember who it was that first approached me, but there's many of them. And he turned around and did Warhorse, Jake Ely, and the winners. They brought out a 6-man, which they always like to do that kind of stuff for fun. They do it at the Arnold too, and I used to do the same thing. If I could get some match and there was some people I like, to get in there and have fun, I'd do it. But yeah, Pat the Bruiser, he worked his butt off. A lot of them did. Crosshairs, he went out and had multiple matches. They all worked their butts off.
No,
But,
I'm not.
Pat,
I'm not selling anybody short by
Right,
any
right.
stretch.
Yeah, but Pat, he pulled, like you said, he pulled triple duty that night, and he probably would have won again if we'd asked him. He's just one of those type of people.
Another match that I don't know quite what to say about it, but Warhorse versus the Black and Blue Crew.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that match was. I was looking forward to it. I was expecting an all-out street fight out in the crowd, all over the place, and they ended up keeping it in the ring, which was fine. But yeah, that was a lot of beef in the ring at one time.
But Cyrus Poe, you can't unsee
that.
And all I saw in my head was Bastion Booger.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Yeah, and I think that's why he wears that outfit like that, just to get that out of people.
I'm just looking at this, going, "Oh my God!" I mean, I'm not one to talk, but
yeah, you just saw Bastion.
Yeah,
yeah, but actually,
Jim, I heard him say in the back that he had one for you too.
Wouldn't surprise me.
New tag team. Yeah, no, actually, kudos to him if I could real quick, because he actually had like severe back pain during that match. Wow. He's got something going on with his back, and I could tell something was wrong just by watching him walk to the ring. Yeah. Because like I said, I came into business in '97, and I think him and Tommy Chill came in around '98 or so. It was just a little after me. So I've been around Tommy Chill and Cyrus Poe many years myself, as well. So I know what he looks like when he's walking to the ring, and I could obviously tell that just watching him walk to the ring that something wasn't right. And so even though his back was hurting him and he probably shouldn't have been out there, he didn't not do it. He went out there and just manned up and toughed through it like he always does. So kudos to him for doing what he did and getting in what he could with his back problems, and we hope he can get his back fixed and get going again.
Yes. Of course, we talked about Katie and Zoe. They phenomenal job. Katie's really professional. Zoe's really professional. We got to talk about Robbie Starr and Matt Taylor, New Ohio Wrestling Championship Saturday night. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, that one I was kind of nervous about because, like I said, we posted, Friday night that Matt, had finally, gotten over on the winners and became the new now champion. And we just got like phenomenal feedback, like all of his friends and family, like people that's never commented on anything we've ever posted were commenting, congratulations, Matt. And like his friends was tagging him like, hey, look what Matt did. So all these people was like congratulating him. And we knew what was coming. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to, we're going to be so hated. And then that night I saw, his sons and his girlfriend, fiance, and his mom, and I was like, oh crap. I feel so bad now. And but I mean, it went over well. His son was mad at Robbie, which that was the point. But yeah, and even Ashley booed me as she walked by. She was laughing and joking, but she booed me, which I expected. So that was fun. But yeah, it was definitely something that we wanted to do. I mean, there's a method to the madness, obviously, and but yeah, we wanted to. It was our first time at the fair, and where we had the fair people watching us, we had the Arnold people there watching us, so we wanted to do something special for the weekend to just kind of, make it feel like it was a big event, like a big match event. So that was kind of the reason behind it. But like I said, there is a method to the madness. I'm not going to reveal anything else, but yeah, but yeah. So sorry, Matt. Yeah, thank you for stepping up and doing it.
Boy, did you see that one fan? Oh, he was indignant.
The guy in the red shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he come over to he come over to John and Matt there and was like complaining to them. I think.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He cheated. He cheated.
Yeah. Well, and then there was another gentleman, and I felt horrible about it, who in a middle, and I don't remember what match it was, but in a middle match, come over and started trying to talk to me, and I literally did the like finger in his face because I was trying to keep things going, and then he disappeared because I was in between matches going to go and apologize and go, I'm very sorry, I was rude to you, I didn't mean to be, but in the midst of calling this match, I can't stop and talk to you, you know, and I couldn't even say, hey, I'll talk to you later. Like, the match was going. The dude disappeared, so I don't know if that guy ever hears this or sees this. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude or trying to be a jerk, but in the process of trying to keep things going and whatnot, you know, I had to kind of cut him off.
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, sometimes fans don't get it, and they do that stuff. Just like Dirk, he said there was a fan that kept getting closer and closer and closer to the ring as like the matches and time went on, and he was having trouble getting around him with the camera. So he said he literally just like put his hand out and just like pushed him back. It was like, you know, man, you got to back up, dude. You know, sometimes you just got to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, maybe I say maybe we get you a sign that says, you know, I'm on live. I'll talk to you in a second. And when they come up, you can just like hold it up.
like they do for Saturday Night Live. They have the live like red light that turns on the desk.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Can anybody think of any really funny stories other than what we've already talked about? I mean, so much went on this weekend. It was such a great weekend, but you know, things happen behind the scenes. I mean, there's laughs to be had. I personally, you know, me being I'm still considering myself the new guy here. I mean, I've been with you guys for a year. I've announced a couple of dozen matches between this and the Arnold. Still getting used to how the wrestlers are. And when I announced the Avery JR match, Avery did his shtick where he falls off the ring rope. And on Friday, I saw him do it several times, and I felt like I got ahead of myself and started to introduce JR. And I heard Avery go, no, never mind. So I personally thought I had done something wrong.
That's just Avery.
Yeah. So here I am. I'm like, geez, now he's going to be mad. I'm sitting there for half the night until I could catch up to him. I was like, he's mad at me for stepping over his gimmick, yada, yada, yada. And I walked back to him. I said, James, I'm sorry if I stepped on your gimmick. He looked at me and goes, dude, I'm a heel.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, at least he didn't take your jacket from the back and wear it to the ring as his own, as he did to me one time. So, yeah.
But he did tell me, he said, if I'd had a problem, I'd have pulled you to the side and let you know about it.
Oh, yeah. He's a great trainer and stuff. So, yeah. And he even actually asked me about you in the back of who you were and your background. And I told him. So, yeah. So, I mean, he's paying attention.
Okay. And I just, I want to do right by the wrestlers. And, if they want to, I've seen wrestlers getting, Queen Amy got in my face the very first time I stepped into a ring. So I just want to be able to do that and be able to play off it just to make the show even better. So it was, I felt bad, but I don't feel bad anymore.
Yeah. Hey, just go to some old OCW matches and watch John in there in the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, because he was their announcer for years, and he did real well.
Okay.
Thanks. I think that probably Dirk has lots of audio that was hilarious because there were several mess ups that that probably get a chuckle from the fans if they only knew how many intros we had to redo. Which the first one I messed up 3 times in a row, and Matt's just staring at me, and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You're messing up now." we're doomed. I'm like, shut up. Get it all out. Get it all out of my system now before it counts.
So what you're saying is Dirk's going to charge me double for editing?
Maybe.
It'll be worth it. Yeah. What was some of your moments, Peach?
Just, the one that really sticks out to me is when, Jim was distracting the bell ringer.
I was waiting for this.
I just, she's easily distracted, and he knew it, and I think he did it on purpose. But, other than that, she held it together pretty good.
Yeah, she didn't understand when I was announcing the Onyx Chris Moore match. She didn't. The music's playing, and I'm just standing there, and she's going, "What are you doing?" She's looking at me, going,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?" And I just said, I motioned her, relax, and she's like, "He's coming." I got this.
Was it because you did like the old
Memphis style,
the old school announcing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she didn't understand that. And she's like, "Okay, my husband's up there. He's not saying anything, and here come the wrestlers." But she didn't know that we were doing it Memphis style for the championship matches, and it threw her off. So when I came down, I'm explaining it to her, and Peachy's going, "Ring the bell," and she's looking wholly at me.
Yeah, I think Ding-a-Ling, the bell ringer, and Peachy Rodriguez have like this love-hate relationship that I think is hilarious. So we might have to turn that into a little gimmick or something.
Yeah, why not? I know she'd love to do it. just to bust Peachy's balls. I mean.
Yeah, and to keep online with Chris, she's one of two of my funniest moments that I thought that I got the biggest kick out of.
Okay.
It was her and my wife Terry, and just watching them both have meltdowns. I mean, I don't know why I think that's funny, but I do, because I'm stressed to the hilt too, and I've had my share of meltdowns. But she was like Chris was setting up all the chairs, and her and Papa Smurf and Shelby, they set up all them chairs and got everything looking really nice for the Saturday show. And then, like we had mentioned earlier, the fair people come in to sit down and eat their food and to chat and to rest. And they started turning all the chairs. And they, like I said, she just like flipped out, and she was like yelling and cussing. And I'm like, settle down, it's fine. They're like, well, straighten them back up. And so, I mean, that to me was funny, just to watch her have a meltdown about the chairs. And because I know how particular she is, and she worked her butt off. Kudos to her she was on top of everything, helping out, doing what she could.
Yeah.
And then Terry had a little bit of a meltdown when we were getting close to bell time on Saturday, and everybody wasn't there. And so she started spazzing a little bit about getting finding the wrestler, seeing where everybody was, and you could just tell she was like, her brain was just we're freaking out, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, it's all right, baby, yes dear, and I'm in the back of my mind, I'm cracking up laughing. I was like, this girl's freaking out. And so I mean, stuff like that is it makes me laugh and stuff. We'll probably have to get them a couple margaritas before the shows or something, or sangrias or something, just to calm them down a little bit. But so those are two things that stuck out as funny moments in my mind, was watching the women freak out.
And one thing for the listeners at home.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say for the listeners at home. I mean, the reason why that freak out was happening was there was just so much traffic coming in on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So many of our guys were stuck in that, and literally I-71 was a parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. People were texting me, and they were telling me it was like 45 minutes to get in, an hour to get in. And so, I mean, I understood it. That's why I wasn't really in panic mode. I'm like, it'll work out. It'll all be good. Yeah. But I mean, Terry, she just wants everything to run so good, and she wants to do such a good job that she just like, if everything isn't running smooth, she starts to get into panic mode or freak out mode. And like I said, I don't know, I get a kick out of it just to watch her do it. But like I said, I've been with her 26 years, so I'm used to it. So I just kind of like laugh about it and stuff.
And I thought it was funny when you guys came out of the trailer and you walked right past me, and she stops and asks me where a couple of guys are at. And then you call me and say, hey, where are you at? Where are these people at? And I'm like, let's talk to Terry about it.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, I swear I didn't even see you.
Oh,
What tickled me about Chris was, first of all, Mike Knapp didn't even know he was booked or forgot he was booked until a couple of days before the show for the other ring announcer. And when she found out that he was stuck in traffic, she's all over, you might have to announce the whole show. It's like, okay, if I do, I do. Relax.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get through it.
So that's the women, though. It's funny to, like I said, it's funny to me to watch that all unfold, and sometimes I'll like poke the bear and I'll just add stuff to it and just to keep her going. But yeah, it's fun.
If I want to poke the bear, I just send Peachy after her.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do for Chris. Yeah.
we'll get that zipper malfunction taken care of for you, Jim.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. If she starts freaking out or getting too crazy, we'll just send Peachy in. Like, Peachy, go take care of that.
Got it.
And I've also got to give kudos to my daughter Shelby for taking care of all the ring gear for the wrestlers. A lot of them were pleasantly surprised to see somebody taking care of their gear for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she did. She worked her butt off too. So that all three of you guys the whole weekend were just on top of it. Everybody really. I mean,
everybody, yeah.
For our first time at the fair, and like I said, I've done the Arnold event, which was the 16 hours of content in 2 days. So these weren't as big as that, but it's still a big undertaking and nerve-wracking as all get out. But I mean, for the most part, for what were doing and the crowds we had to work around, I think everything went pretty much flawlessly. And when issues did come up, they were handled quickly. Everybody was on their game, from the people in the back to the wrestlers to the management to like everybody. Everybody just chipped in and helped out where they were. Like I said, the 6-man match with Warhorse, Ely, and the winners, I didn't even plan that, or I didn't even think of that. They came to me and was like, hey, we're going to do a 6-man, this, and that. What do you think? And I'm like, sounds great. Go for it. We got some time. So like everybody was professional enough to see what's going on, and they stepped up. And I just, like I said, for what it was, and as big an undertaking as it was, and us being our first time, and first time there, and having Arnold's people's eyes on us, and having the Fair's people's eyes on us, I couldn't ask for anything better. I think everybody was just on their game.
I couldn't agree with you more, Donnie. Just everything was handled in a timely manner, from start to finish. I mean, it was great. I don't know what else we can say about it. That you said it was we impressed the fair pretty much, didn't we?
Yeah, they came at me. They came at me Friday night, and again Saturday when we got there, and already told us that we'd be back before we even did our Saturday event. So just our 2 hours of them seeing us those short 2 hours Friday, and then plus all the setup, and Deborah, the lady I'm working with at the fair, she was just happy with everything we did, and she was more concerned, oddly enough, that we were happy with them, and as opposed to us being happy with her being happy with us. But so it only took the first show Friday for her to realize that we were legit and that we were coming back. So like I said, that just again that's a credit to everybody involved, and the professionalism and just stepping up and doing what we do, just like with the Arnold doing. And the Arnold, we proved ourselves, showed that we belong, and we just did the same thing with the fair. So like I said, the people we're surrounding ourselves with, there's a reason we're doing that, and it's working.
Yeah, and I think that again, just to reiterate what we talked about before, this is a big deal. Peachy mentioned it's been 8 years since there's been pro wrestling at the Ohio State Fair. And prior to that, I don't even know when the last time was, prior to 2010. So this is a huge, huge deal. And it's, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's awesome to be able to entertain all those people down there at the fairgrounds.
I agree. Even though I'm not Donnie Hoover.
Yeah, on the screen. Yeah. Did anybody have a favorite match? Like I said, I can't really answer this one because me doing what I do, I run around and I don't get to watch all the matches. I'll get to watch like bits and pieces of most of them. But what was your guys' favorite matches, do you think?
I really enjoyed the Fields Taylor match.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little nerve-wracking at one point, but it was a well-done match. In spite of the one spot that
The Spanish Fly off the top.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that made a lot of people nervous watching that.
The ropes were a little loose on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it brought once it hit, it got a huge pop. I know that much. But to see those two working at it, and to see Matt win the belt, however short it may be, and to see all the kids lining up, I think that impressed me more. Just seeing all the kids that wanted to have their picture taken with the champ.
Mm-hmm.
That makes everything worth it, in my opinion. I mean, me not being a wrestler, if I was a wrestler and I got out of a ring and a bunch of kids want a picture with me, I think that would just be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'm gonna pick a favorite match, I'm gonna go with the ladies match.
Okay.
I really thought it was probably one of the best ladies matches I've seen in a while, and I think they told a very good story. So that would get my vote.
This is tough.
Oh, it is.
It's because there's so many of them, you know. The one that I think impressed more people than what I thought it would was Onyx and Chris Moore. You know, it's not too many people that could come in and almost match up size-wise with Onyx, but then just have a decent match, and usually you don't get that out of two big guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd was into it, you know, and it was just a solid match all the way around. And I think Chris, you know, opened up a lot of eyes, and you know, and Onyx had a good time, and Chris had a good time, and you know, I was really happy with how it turned out.
Agreed.
You know, I got to say, Peachy, when I saw Chris Moore come out, I was like, oh my God, he's almost as big as Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he just had that look. I mean, he had that heel look going that just said, I'm going to just step on you and rub you into the dirt if you get in my way.
The first time that I the second time, I'll say, the second time that I saw him on a show, I had been around him all day, and he had a big baggy sweatshirt on, and I didn't get to see him when he was, you know, before he came out for his match, and he walked through the curtain, and I was like, where's that guy been at for the last 2 days? I haven't seen him, because I didn't realize he was as big as what he was. And, you know, and I've told him that multiple times, and it's just, you know, he laughs now, but it's like, it's funny seeing other people see him and go, oh, wow, he's in good shape. You know, he's for being a big guy, he's in good shape, you know? So it's, I always find it funny that people are impressed with his size, because they don't see it when he has just his normal street clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I really didn't get a chance to sit down and watch a whole match. I just got to see bits and pieces. Just things that stick out to me. Warhorse. I'm becoming a big fan of Warhorse. I think it's a great tag team. I love their new look. They just click well together, and just even watching them walk to the ring is like intimidating and impressive and stuff. The way they do it. And I've heard other people mention that, you know, they're becoming big fans of Warhorse.
Yeah.
So yeah, they stood out. You know, like I said, a lot of things stood out. The three-way dance, like I said, Baker stepped up and impressed me a lot, and I'm glad, because I love the Baker. He's a great dude. Yeah, like I said, you know, Sless always does good. I mean, like I said, every match was really good. There wasn't really a bad match that I can point out. But yeah, so the Spanish Fly. So I seen spots. So like the Spanish Fly stood out because I was nervous as well. And yeah, like I said, and a whole lot more I didn't really get to see because I was running around doing whatever promoters do and putting out fires and whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of stuff that stood out to me. But yeah, Warhorse is really catching my eye, and I really liking them. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you summed it up nicely, Donnie. There wasn't a bad match. I mean, every match had its merits.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, sometimes that's a rare when you in shows like this where you don't have a bad match or a botch filled match, and to have something both days that were quality matches without any issues is a testament to the talent that was working those days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we figure we did 6 matches on Friday and ended up being 13 on Saturday, so we did 19 matches, and all of them were pretty quality matches. So yeah, so kudos to all those guys and gals in the ring. They came out and did their thing like they always do, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Agreed. Well, I think we pretty much covered New Ohio Wrestling at the Ohio State Fair 2019. Any closing thoughts before we go off the air, guys?
I don't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the only thing I got is I can announce that we will be back at the fair. The dates that they want us to do, I do not know yet. We only did 2 days this year, but I think they want us to do more next year. So I don't know if we're going to be doing 3 dates or 5. That's what we have to go meet with them about coming up here after a while. But so we will be back at the fair. So thanks to everybody that was a part of it. We couldn't have made it happen without everybody. And also the Arnold, same thing. Lee from the Arnold was there both days. She's a lady that runs the Kids and Teens Expo that we do at the Brooker Building, and she had a blast. And she kept coming up to me and just smiling and laughing, and she's like, I cannot believe how many people actually get into this stuff. She's like, it still just surprises me how many people really like this stuff. And I was like, I told you, like there's a lot of closet wrestling fans out there. like there's more people that like wrestling than you realize. And she's like, I'm starting to see that. So I mean, to go there and to impress the lady that runs the Arnold Kids and Teens Expo, and then also to impress the lady that puts on the events at the fair that we're dealing with, it was great for me. It's something that even if we shut down tomorrow, it's an accomplishment that somebody can't take away from any of us.
Yeah.
So we can always say we did that no matter what. So, but yeah, as of right now, we're going to be back at the Arnold in March. We're going to be back at the fair in July, August, and I'll let everybody know when we find things out.
Well, let's also not forget that if anybody listening or watching this episode is interested in seeing other New Ohio Wrestling shows, they can check us out on the Fight Network app. That's FITE.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got several shows up there and more shows coming.
Yep. And actually, I just uploaded now 8, 10, and 11 last night. So we'll have our first, now 1 through 11 minus now 9 will be up there. So yeah, so you guys can go back and see any of that, the 2 Arnolds, all the stuff. And as soon as the fair event gets edited and done, that'll be up on Fight TV as well.
So check us out on the Fight Network. You can check out New Ohio Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as the WrestleHorror podcast. So in closing, let me just say thank you to Donnie Hoover, John Orlando, Peachy Rodriguez. I'm Meathook Jim. You guys have a great night, and we'll catch you on the next show.
See ya.
See ya.